Garrett, but we got our marble backsplash up in the pantry and it's real pretty.
It's looking good over here.
Yeah.
It took a little doing, and there was snow on the ground. So
Yeah.
not exactly the right time to be fabricating marble outside. It was cold, windy, but we got this little piece of marble fabricated, and we have our countertop and the sink cut out all done. So the marble in here is basically done.
Yeah, we just have to glue it down, glue it on, and I'm so excited. Yeah, if you guys remember, just 2 days ago, we pulled this marble slab and this guy back here out of our, what do you call it?
Boneyard. It's the scrap pile.
It's a scrap pile. And, you know, I mentioned on Instagram that anyone that's done multiple old houses probably has one, and I got a lot of messages back. We are not the only ones with a scrap pile, but we do have, you know, things in there, such as marble, and I'm so glad we had one last piece left for this backsplash, because this is definitely not something we had in the design until like a week ago. I told Garrett, hey, I'd really like to add a backsplash. So.
Yeah, so we had a little piece that was just the right size, and basically I wanted to show you guys real quick in this video how we put that together, how I fabricated it up. It was pretty easy. I mean, for the most part, we just had tools on hand, same tools that we've used before for marble. And those are a skill saw with a diamond blade, circular saw, and a wet polisher / grinder. And so those are kind of the two key tools that you need for this project, and
a little bit of safety equipment, eye protection,
the safety
ear
equipment,
protection.
yeah.
You should wear a mask.
So first step is just getting the right size piece for any project, really, whether you're doing countertop or backsplash like this. You just cut it to the dimensions of your space. In this case, it's 12 inches by 26 inches. So that was the rectangle that we started out with. Mm-hmm. And then we had designed the radius that we wanted on each corner. And
Do you still have our template?
Yeah, downstairs.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay.
So the design is like, I feel like 90%, well, that's not fair. Maybe it's a big chunk of the project,
yeah.
Like getting the design right. And I knew I wanted to have a rectangle with kind of a concave circle on either side. So that's where we started with, and then we used different kitchen tools, circles in our kitchen, different plate sizes.
We started out with like a cup, moved to a bowl, moved to another bigger bowl, plate.
Yeah, to kind of get a nice radius for that circle. So we played around with that, and we used a cardboard template to really help us, because when you're doing something like this where you get one shot, it's really nice to do a template. So I was gonna say, does it look pretty close?
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so once we had mocked up basically the radius that we wanted and the size and thought it looked good, I translated this radius onto a piece of plywood that I could actually use to sand up against and polish up against to get the right curve on the marble. And so you'll see how I did that. But basically, you just use that template to get your marks on your rectangle. And first, we actually cut just an angle straight across to get the corners off. And then we had just this little bit of marble to take out. And I used the angle grinder, the wet polisher grinder with a diamond blade to get that initial cut. And then I went ahead and polished it with the 50 grit diamond polishing pad to smooth it out.
Yeah, I saw that in the video. I thought it was kind of interesting. So you started to get this curve cut, you started with a straight cut across here, and then you came back and you cut little lines.
Yes.
Into that. And then you came through and cut those little kind of tiny rectangles almost out.
Yep.
And it was really rough at that point, like really, really rough. And then you came in with the grinder.
The polishing pad, yeah. Yeah, and the polishing pad, the 50 grit polishing pad actually removes a lot of marble, so you can really take out a lot of the chunkiness with that. And then
yeah, I think at this point, like, you cannot tell, like, you have no idea that you didn't just cut a nice clean circle.
That it wasn't done on a water table with a water jet super cutter.
Okay, it's not quite that smooth, but you know, it's pretty close. And you know, one thing I like about this is it does have that kind of hand finished feel. Like it's never a perfect angle. It's got a little bit of movement in it, not like in a bad way, just like a really nice like handmade, like
it's handmade.
Handmade pottery, you know.
It's It's definitely handmade.
Done by hand.
Yeah, and so once you have the polisher, you just work through the grits. And on this one, I went through 50 grit, 100 grit, 200 grit, and then finished on the 400 grit. And the 400 grit is like the final hone too. So the whole surface is honed at 400 grit, and it came out nice. It's definitely something that if you have those tools and you've done a little bit of maybe easier projects with just kind of square cuts and things, you can do it. You can put curves in your marble. You can do it. Trust me.
Are you gonna put more curves in your marble? That's the question. You gonna do it again?
So that's the process for doing a marble backsplash with cute little corner curve things that make it really elegant and a little bit old.
You nailed it. Yeah. That's it. That's the whole process. Yeah, and if you liked this video, you can hit the subscribe button below and you'll get videos before we publish them on the blog. And
yeah, it's the sneak peek. YouTube is like a sneak peek because the videos come up and then maybe sometime later they come out on the blog.
Yeah, and you can also follow us on Instagram. I shared all the stories of behind the scenes of this marble work on there, and I save them to my highlights. So at the Grit and Polish over there as well. Thanks for watching.